Hello and welcome back to week 2 of God Bless Fantasy Football. My name is Brandon Tiedemann, my co-host, my partner, my friend, Andrew.
Dr. 4-0 this week.
Dr. 4-0 this week. He's going to always bring up his record every
You're probably
week.
like, what? 4-0? You only played 1 week of football. That's because I'm in 4 leagues, baby, and we took them all home. That's probably the first time in a long time that I pulled that off.
That's a good first week.
Yeah, but are you even really a doctor, though?
Am I?
Like, how long did you go to
drink a
school?
lot of Dr. Pepper.
That counts.
I would say some
Gives
people,
you a
it's
little
okay to
bit
go to
of
school for
status.
10 years. What is that? Isn't that a quote from Tommy Boy?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. Hey, some people go to school for 10 years. Yeah, they're called doctors.
They're called doctors, Tommy.
Yes, I am a doctor of fantasy football. I think I told the people in episode 1 that I was a platinum.
Yeah.
Was I a platinum or was I a gold? Cam, fact check me. What was I?
You said platinum.
Huh?
Going platinum,
There
baby.
it is.
Going platinum.
I look platinum. Back to profile viewing. Platinum. That's right. Plus 31 since last week. Please and thank you. All right. That's all I need for the show today.
I mean,
We can wrap this thing up.
that's all you needed today?
Yeah, that's all I needed
That's
to
all you
share.
came for?
4-0. That's it.
I tied this week, so that's how
How do you tie? Okay, are you in a league with decimals?
No, it's a whole point league,
Well,
but here's the
that's
problem.
exactly why you tied.
But that's the dumbest thing in the world.
No, the dumbest thing in the world is playing in a league without decimal points so that you avoid ties.
That's what I'm saying, because now I texted him. I was like, why did you make the league whole points? He goes, well, it's better that way. I said, no, it's not. It's actually way worse that way.
I would love to hear the argument for both. Tell me the argument for why it's better, and tell me the argument why it's worse.
Well, it's better because, okay, if you get a tie, then that's just 1% chance that's going to happen with decimal points, because then you have to look down the line for, say, when
I think it's less than 1% if there were decimal points, because you can you play to the 100th, right? So it's not like 117.7. No, it's 117.74. If you got to 0.74 and you tied, then it's just like, all right, whatever. Like, it's just, some things just happen. Our world's pretty crazy. But if you are 117 to 117, that is a bogus point scoring league.
Yeah, I was tied 92-92. So regardless, our teams didn't play well.
92 to 92. PPR?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys should be ashamed of yourselves.
Good thing I'm not that league manager.
I put up 144 in one league. Thank you to Tyreek Hill.
Yes, we did. And you know who we beat in that league? We beat David. David, I'm sorry.
Wait, we have Tyreek Hill in that league too?
Yes.
I have Tyreek Hill in 3 leagues. Let's go.
Well,
He ate this week. And when I
did
say ate, it's funny because in 2 of my 3 leagues, now that I just found out I have Tyreek Hill in 3, that just goes to show how much I was paying attention to the ESPN league. I have Tyreek Hill as a dynasty player. And people were so willing to give him up for younger players this year because he's getting up there in age, and you don't really know with his minor injury history and how much longer he may have in the league. Plus, like, the Tua concerns were back, and I'm just like, Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill. What are we talking about? So I sold young talent to get Tyreek because I said, well, for 3 years at least. Because he's, 28, 29? Let's just say for 3 years at least, this guy is going to be top 3 in wide receiver fantasy scoring. Top 3. He just always will be. So I will focus on the next few drafts to make up for Tyreek Hill. But in the meantime, I'll just keep scooping, right? I'll just keep scooping those fantasy points. And it paid off. 1-0 in both dynasty formats.
there you go. Yeah, our league that we have with Cam, I think, scored.
That we have with Cam.
That you guys allowed me to be a part of, really. I'm just the punching bag. The first guy. Just kick me around a little bit.
You did lose to Cassidy, and
I did.
that's your own fault.
I did, but, that's just because my players sucked.
Hey, let's just go back
On
real
paper,
fast.
they looked good.
I believe Cam was projected to finish first in the league.
Deuces.
Second? Okay, second. And what was your record going to be?
What do you, everything.
Like 12
I win
and
everything.
2,
I win
something
everything.
like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was very cocky.
You only have 1 loss to go in order to get to your projected win-loss total. So let's see you pick it up in week 2.
There was just a lot of upsets and weird things that happened. Like my QB, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, he got
Didn't
paid,
show
and
up.
then he decided not to play.
Yeah, he's out. Or not out, but he's checked out mentally.
He's out on you.
He knew I picked him. He's like, screw that Cam guy. He's an idiot.
Yeah, no, Joey B got paid like $219 million guaranteed, which is funny because I did the math. I was at the bar on Friday night. We were out in Cedar Rapids for
doing math at the bar.
Yep. Sometimes you have to.
I want to party with this guy.
Sometimes you have to. We were out at the bar, and we were at an Applebee's because we had just gotten to Cedar Rapids. We were there for a baseball tournament, and Applebee's had all-you-can-eat wings for $12.99. It's like the little deal they have going right now. And so I hate deals like this, though, because it makes you feel like you have to eat more than you can handle just because you want to beat the system. You want to beat the company.
You want to stick it to them.
So I had like 22 wings, okay? And I was hungry, but it came with endless fries, so three plates of fries and 21 boneless wings. And then on top of that, you know how they always have a drink every month, like a not like a promotion. I'm trying to think of like
a seasonal cocktail.
Yeah, like just a deal for the month. Deal of the we'll call it the sip of the month.
There you go.
And they have these $5 fish bowls that they basically give you, and we had 3 of those. And so we're looking at the TVs, and mind you, my belly is full. And I'm staring at the TV, and I'm like, you know what? That's a lot of money. $219 million guaranteed. That's a lot of money. So then we started breaking down the math. And, once you get like some liquid courage in you, you start thinking about things that normal people don't think about. So I said, I wonder how much money he makes per second. I wonder how much money Joe Burrow makes a second. And as I did the math, you go to 52 weeks in a year and you're dividing and you keep dividing and then dividing some more. And I looked up how many seconds are in a year. So once I got to his year by year total, which was like 43 million, I divided that by, I think it's over 300 million seconds in a year. Maybe it's 3 billion. I can't
it's
remember.
That song from Rent. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that number.
And so guess how much money Joe Burrow makes per second?
$1 million. I'm going to say $1 million just for fun.
Okay.
Because I'm not good at math.
If he makes $1 million per second, Cam, that would be insane. Nobody makes that.
Is it in the 100,000s?
No. Is it like 52 cents?
It's like closer to that number.
Okay, good.
You said like 33 cents.
1 million a second. Yeah, he's just like, I could just buy that house. Oh, I just bought that house too. Oh, I just bought that boat.
I just bought that house. Island nation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you remember the Philippines? Now they're called the Burrows.
Yeah. I'm an idiot.
Okay, so let's go back to the question. How much money does he make per second? You said 52 cents. Cam, what do you think?
17 cents.
He makes over $1 a second.
Oh, geez.
Like $1.28. So we sat there, and mind you, again, we're at the bar. We're thinking about how much money our meal costs, and we added that up. It was about like $28. So we sat there in silence for 22 seconds, and we just go, well, Burrow could have just paid for our meal.
Yeah.
Nope, Burrow just paid for your meal.
I thought you were going to break down how many platters of wings and big old bowls of liquid courage that he could buy every day.
No.
That's what I thought you were
No,
going to
I'm
go
going
with
with how much money he makes per second. So
this podcast not sponsored by Applebee's.
We are 18 minutes into this podcast, roughly, because we got up here around 1. I don't think we started on time. And Joe Burrow has just made $20. No. I'm sorry, because that's not per second. So Joe Burrow has just made like close to $200. And all we've been doing here is just BSing about how much money he makes and how many fishbowl margaritas I had on Friday. But I digress.
Well, on that note, we can talk about the week 1 NFL games.
Let's do it. Why are you guys laughing? I'm excited.
I don't know. I don't even know where to start.
Who did we beat in week 1 in our fantasy league? Let's start there.
We beat David.
Hey, Cam, load me up. Load me up.
Tell me when we're ready. Oh, we're ready now. Say it again.
We beat David.
David, suck it.
Yes,
Perfect.
1-0.
Just like in practice.
1-0 in GBFF.
Yeah. What surprised you about week one?
I don't know if a lot surprised me. I think for the most part, if we kind of went about breaking down position groups and things, the quarterback stayed pretty level. Anthony Richardson may have surprised me in week one. He put up a lot of good numbers, but that's to be expected in Indy. He'll get some garbage time fantasy production that will probably beat out Lamar Jackson most of the year. And Lamar Jackson didn't have the best showing in week one, but all in all, I don't think I had a lot of surprise at the quarterback position. As for the running backs, I focus more on the injuries that we saw over anything else. I couldn't believe J.K. Dobbins happened again.
Yeah.
I mean, for the second year in a row, is it second, third? I mean, he was coming out of college with an injury too. I mean, it's just super unfortunate for the Ravens. And now I'm starting to wonder, okay, who they go after next, or if they really do stay in-house like they say they're planning. If the Ravens want to win a Super Bowl, you're not going to do that with Melvin Gordon.
No.
You're not going to do that with Justice Hill. You're not going to do that with Gus Edwards. J.K. Dobbins looked good, too, before he got injured. I'm really curious, and I know it's going to take some time, and maybe we kind of feel out where the Ravens are by week 4 or, where the Dolphins are by week 4. But I think somebody's going to take a chance on Jonathan Taylor.
I think the Dolphins are.
And the reason I say that is because you kind of see the position somebody's put in when your number one goes down, right? And how many running backs in the league are better than Jonathan Taylor that are currently on somebody's team? And so I'm not going to say hey, we're going to put up Jonathan Taylor against Najee Harris. No, both of those guys are RB1, so I'm avoiding that. But if you look across the NFL, we could go team by team, and you could probably come up with 6 teams that would benefit by having him as their lead back. The Chiefs, for example. If they had Jonathan Taylor, they'd be pretty sick.
They'd be
But would they change their offensive scheme to balance it more between throwing and running, or would it still stay heavy in the pass game and Jonathan Taylor takes a back seat? You may not want to switch things around too much because you have Mahomes. You look at the Eagles, they just got Swift, so they're probably, all out. The Lions have 2 backs. The Jets, Breece Hall had 2 carries for over 100 yards, which was incredible because you read a bunch of reports going into that game, and you just think, well, they're going to ease him in, right? That's what everyone's been saying. Dalvin Cook's going to get the majority of the work, and then Breece Hall takes the first snap. And I'm like, wait.
Up the gut. 84 yards.
What are we doing? Well, his first one went for 26, and then the last one went for about 89. But as you keep kind of going down the list, the Broncos had Javonte Williams, right? Is Javonte somebody that I would, make a tandem if I could? Probably, but I don't know if I want to limit Jonathan Taylor like that. The 49ers, they have McCaffrey. The Packers have 2 backs. New England's got Ramondre. The Bills have James Cook. Saquon Barkley. The Bears could use somebody, right? The Bears could really benefit from having someone, and we talked about that a little bit in our first episode too. The Vikings are fine. Madison's good. You look at the Raiders with Jacobs, and then you get to the Dolphins, right? So here's team number 1, maybe 2 if we throw the Bears in there. So the Dolphins now make this a 2-back race to how do we get to Jonathan Taylor. The Browns don't need him. The Seahawks don't need him. Here come the Ravens now because they don't have J.K. Dobbins. So now we have 3 teams that could potentially be interested. I like James Conner. Joe Mixon's good. The Commanders have 2 backs, and Brian Robinson looked pretty good in week 1.
Solid.
And the Saints are what? Right? Because you're waiting on Alvin Kamara. So it's kind of the same situation as the Colts, so let's just pump the brakes there. The Texans have Dameon Pierce, who is solid. I'll sit there and say that. Miles Sanders, and then you have the Chargers, right? The Chargers have Eckler. Great. The Bucks have who?
Rashad White.
Right? Does that make you more comfortable than if you had Jonathan Taylor? I could slot him in. The Bucks looked offensively pretty darn good. against the
did.
Vikings. And the Vikings were, what, 7-point favorites in that game? I think it dropped to 5 before the game started.
Yeah.
You look at the Titans, they're fine. The Jags are fine. The Rams.
The Titans, though.
Well, the Titans have Derrick Henry. So,
yes, and I think I was wrong about him. I'm not going to lie.
as in
I didn't think he was going to be as dominant as he was.
Derrick Henry will stay dominant until he retires.
Yeah.
The Rams had, Kyron Williams, step up and really take charge of that backfield when Cam Akers wasn't. So I would consider them fine. The Falcons obviously drafted Bijan. The Cowboys have Pollard, who finally looked good, and the Steelers have Najee. So, that's I went through all 32 teams, but there's 4 teams out there that could really use Jonathan Taylor. And I want to make the Ravens in that hunt, because if they want to be a Super Bowl contender, they need a running back, because that's the way they operate. They love running the football. They've never been, at least since Lamar Jackson has gotten into the league, they've never been perfect in the pass game. They may have people on the outside that allow for it, but they've never been perfect, because they need that 1-2 punch. They need that, hey, I'm going to run first, then I'm going to pass. They need it to be kind of OG Madden style. That's why the Ravens should be, in the mix for getting a running back, and not just saying, hey, I'm promoting Melvin Gordon. Hey, I'm, promoting Gus Edwards to RB1 and Justice Hill or whatever, because those guys don't get me excited. But a guy like Jonathan Taylor does.
That's just how their offense is. It's so it's like you play Madden to play with the Ravens because it's so fun to play with them. That's how their offense is. Because they have so many weapons, and they, like you're saying, they're missing that running back that you could have, 3-yard line, you just push it forward. You don't have to do any passes, dip and dives, screens. You can have Jonathan Taylor score. He'd probably benefit from it, but it's going to cost a lot. But if the Ravens want to put all their eggs in a basket this year, that's what you should do.
Well, and the Ravens were also in a spot to where they weren't going to sign Lamar. And then they finally said, well, okay, we should probably, lock in Lamar. So, yes, they dragged their feet a little bit, kind of like the Colts have been dragging their feet with Jonathan Taylor. Maybe they just skip that step and go, we'll sign you to, the deal that you want. Maybe. I'm not saying that happens. I'm not saying they have the cap space to do that. But what I am saying is there's ability to get something done. And there's teams out there that will eventually pay it once the season gets going and they see that, we're in playoff contention right now. Let's lock ourselves in week 4, week 5, week 6, and know that if we have Jonathan Taylor on this team that can insert himself, kind of like how McCaffrey inserted himself on the 49ers last year, damage can be done before the playoffs even begin.
Yeah, I agree. With wide receivers, I thought it was kind of interesting. Brandon Ayuk, he did good. That's someone you
Played
said
very well.
Was going to do good. Jacoby Myers was a good surprise.
Yeah, I still don't know how I feel about him. I mean, yes, okay. Who did the Raiders have? They have Devontae Adams. They have Myers. And was Renfrow playing this week?
I don't even know if they have Renfrow anymore, if I'm being honest.
Okay, see, I'm not too deep into their depth chart, right? Because I don't care much past Devontae Adams as a fantasy player. I mean, you even have Michael Mayer that got drafted in the second round this year to that team, and I still don't know how comfortable I feel with him yet. Josh Jacobs, of course, is great, but yeah, I mean, would you call Myers a surprise? Maybe.
Probably just based off of last year.
He did it in New England a little bit. Like he's over with the Raiders. Adams was getting the top dog on him, so Myers was able to, break loose a little bit. But think about who they have at quarterback, right? Jimmy Garoppolo. So you see Deebo Samuel, you see Brandon Ayuk last year. They both kind of had their moments. And so Jimmy's not afraid to look past the number 1 to go to the number 2. Yeah. So to me, Jacoby Myers, I wouldn't say is like, hey, we got to go snag him. Like we have to go get him now. But if you are hurting at the wide receiver position, why not take a flyer on him? Why not add him to your bench, see what he does the rest of the way?
But he might not play this week. He's a concussion protocol. He got knocked out in the game practically.
He got knocked out.
Pretty much. Someone we forgot about, Calvin Ridley.
I didn't forget about Calvin Ridley at all. And,
everyone else did.
There was all right, so when I was in Sioux City, I was in a fantasy league with a bunch of media members up there, and I remember somebody trying to trade with me for Calvin Ridley, or I was including him in a trade to get somebody I really wanted, and he had the audacity to tell me that Calvin Ridley is inconsistent. So since that day, every time Calvin Ridley has a good game, especially fantasy-wise, which is nearly every week, if you could map it out, 14 out of the 16 weeks that he played before he had to sit out a year because of gambling, 14 out of those 16 weeks, you could say that he probably had 100 yards and a touchdown, or damn near close to that, right? And so every single year, my buddy and I text after Calvin Ridley's week, and we just type inconsistent and hit send. Inconsistent and hit send. And so what I did this year was, I don't know why I was pissed off on Sunday. I think it was because I had the baseball juices flowing. We ended up winning that tournament, but some coaches were really pissing me off. And so I texted the dude that told me inconsistent. And I just texted inconsistent, send. He didn't like that. He didn't like that.
You know?
He didn't send back laughing face emojis. He sent me the middle finger emoji.
Oh.
And I just said, hey, dig your own grave. Calvin Ridley would have won you fantasy 2 years ago, but instead you decided to call him inconsistent. Calvin Ridley's a dude. He's a dude. And, you know, I've dogged Trevor Lawrence since he's gotten into the league. I have slowly reeled that back in. Like, you know, I'm not going to cast that out ever again. I think I'm going to keep reeling it in until it comes back to my rod. But, you know, he's proven to be a dog. And in Doug Peterson offenses, things just kind of work. Things work really well. And the Jags are going to be a scary team. Scary team in that conference. In that division, rather.
Well, our fantasy team, we got the injury bug already. Luckily, it's on the bench, but still, got to fill those spots.
At least we get to move some pieces around. That's always what I struggle with whenever I draft a bench, that early on, you feel like you have to hold on to these guys because who knows? Like, maybe they'll become something. But now that they're hurt, it's just like, oh, at least I could pick up somebody that's, you know, trending in the right direction, like a Jacoby Myers that you already brought up.
Yeah, so we have Aaron Rodgers and J.K. Dobbins on our bench. So,
both really good options for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I would totally agree if you're doing a reverse fantasy league, which some people do. Saw that video today where you do reverse fantasy league.
That doesn't sound fun.
I didn't say that they were smart.
What is fun about that, though?
You're just cheering for bad football. Besides the point, waiver wires open today. So I got 4 players. Would you add them or would you not add them?
Uh-oh. Here we go. What happened last time we did this episode? I think I went, did I do 1 out of 3? 1 out of 4?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I just remember when Cam gave us rookies and I put Bijan at 3. Unbelievable. Although Jordan Addison had a better week than Bijan. Mark that down, people. All right, go ahead.
Brock Purdy. He's only rostered in 24.5% of leagues.
If I need to replace my quarterback?
Or your backup quarterback.
I like Brock Purdy. I think Brock deserves the slander on Brock Purdy needs to end. At least is what I want to say there. Brock is he's a talent. He plays well in Kyle Shanahan's offense. He looks comfortable on the field. He reads defenses well. I saw him scramble for a first down, and he was, you know, it looked like in panic mode, and then he just has the IQ of a really good quarterback in the National Football League. I like Brock a lot. The haters out there just need to stop. You know, we've talked for a long time that 49er quarterbacks just don't do anything in fantasy. Right? They just haven't. Like it was, you know, Kaepernick for a little bit, who could have been productive in certain formats. Alex Smith could have been productive in certain formats if he would have stayed healthy. And then you get into the Jimmy G's of the world. You get into, oh, gosh, Trey Lance didn't do anything. And then you get into Brock Purdy, and it's just kind of like no one gets excited about a 49ers quarterback. Now is the time to, you know, invest some money into it. I'm not saying in certain auction formats that you spend a lot to get Brock Purdy, but in an effort to replace, you know, an option, why not? Like, Brock Purdy deserves all the credit in the world for what he's been able to do there, especially coming into the league as the last pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, that's just crazy in itself that he was the last pick, and then now.
So I'd add him. Because I like Brock, and I'm an Iowa State fan. Like, I like the Cyclones. I like Matt Campbell. I like what he did at Iowa State. So I'm a fan. Cam, do you like Iowa State?
No.
I don't like.
Why
Iowa
did it sound
State.
like you were so away from your headset? Were you
I'm
throwing
away
it?
from my headset.
Did you chuck it after I said I like Iowa State?
I couldn't believe you would say such a thing. Like I'm from Iowa, so Brandon and I can really relate on the haterade.
Are you an
for
Iowa fan
Iowa
too?
State.
I'm an Iowa fan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Both my parents are Iowa State fans, so I think I just, out of teen angst, became a Hawkeye fan.
Mom, can I go to this party? No. Fine, I'm rooting for the Cyclones.
Yeah, go Hawkeyes.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Wrong way. Wrong way. Let's retract that. Hey, Mom, can I go to the party? No. Fine, I'm a Hawkeye fan now.
That's exactly how it went. So I'm petty like that.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Go to your room, Cam. Fine, I'll just root for Kirk Ferentz the rest of the way.
You got the head bob down too. Like you nailed it, dude. Like I've only known you for like a year or two, and you nailed it.
I just need the beard. I bet you had that beard when you were 15.
I was baby face like you. Just kidding.
I am only 15.
I had a full neck beard.
Why are you looking at me like that?
You were drinking underage this weekend? You said you're 15.
I was using my McLovin ID.
Those big fish bowls, baby.
My next.
They asked me if I was old enough. I said to party.
I was going to ask about Justice Hall or Gus Edwards, but we already kind of talked about that, so I was going to skip over that.
Yeah, well, you're going to add one of them, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't think Melvin Gordon is going to be the guy coming off of the practice squad. Justice Hill had a good week in the touchdown category. I still think Gus Edwards is the better back. I'd go him. But I just outside whenever I look at the Ravens running back situation when they don't have a number one, you just never can choose right. So add one, but add the one you just like more. Like search them both. 8 for 32 or 8 for 9 with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Which one makes you excited? I'd lean Gus Edwards, but Justice Hill got into the end zone twice. So make up your mind. I'd go Edwards, though.
All right, Puka Nakua for her.
What? Ahuma numa 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 apawa?
Puka, is that? I think so. That's how you say it, right?
I don't know. I just said he goes.
I think I want some fish now.
I just said the BYU kid every time. Yeah, the kid from BYU. That's kind of like what I say about Tua. Because I don't like to say Tagovailoa. It's a mouthful, so I just go, oh, Tua. And then if I'm talking about his brother at Maryland, I'm like, oh, yeah, Tua's brother. Because his name is just as weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's too much for me. I'm not that smart.
I mean, he's rostered in 1% of leagues. He had 10 catches for 119 yards. I mean, I understand, like, if you need someone right now, yes. But when Cooper Kupp comes back, he's going to drop off a little bit.
He'll drop off a ton.
Yeah.
But it just depends on when Cooper Kupp comes back.
Yeah.
And so you look at what you have. Van Jefferson was kind of like the hot ad of the week before we saw what ended up taking place in week 1. And, take a flyer on him, see what happens, because there's nobody on your bench right now that you took. Well, let's just say this. There is somebody on your bench that you took last or second to last that you could replace with Puka.
Yeah.
There is. So drop Jalen Hyatt, right, for Puka. Drop, we'll go with, like, DJ Chark. Or
I'm dropping Drake London.
throwing things around. Trying to think of number 2, like Jamison Williams. Like I could drop Jamison Williams because I'm trying to hold on to him outside of that suspension for Puka right now. There's players out there that you can drop that you took way late in drafts that lead you to believe that okay, like when you drafted this guy, you expected him to maybe put up weeks like Puka did in week 1.
Yeah.
So why not take what Puka did in week 1 and see if it can be revisited, right? Doubled down on.
Yeah.
Things like that.
He's someone you get now, and then you kind of just filter him out each week. He's one of those waiver guys you filter each week. Kenneth Gainwell.
No, I wouldn't add him this week.
You don't think you'd add him this week?
No, and I like Kenneth Gainwell. I think he's one of the best handcuffs in the league, and he really does a nice job out of the backfield for that team. But, DeAndre Swift is similar to Kenneth Gainwell, right? When he got drafted by the Lions, he was supposed to be a receiving back. He wasn't supposed to be like a true bell cow until he dropped a touchdown in like the easiest touchdown of his life, which would have been his first touchdown ever. But I like DeAndre Swift. I like what I like what Swift has to offer more, but Kenneth Gainwell did show up as the number one for that team.
Yeah, this week he had 14 carries for 54 yards and then 4 for 4 on catches for 20 yards. So, I mean, PPR league, that's not bad.
No, and so it's hard for me, okay, because I see DeAndre Swift as the guy.
So do I.
I see him as being the volume back. It kind of surprised me that Kenneth Gainwell did get the start and play majority of the snaps, but I just almost wonder if Swift wasn't like up to speed yet on that system.
Yeah, and that's
He should have been, but I just wonder if he wasn't. But at least for now, he is behind Kenneth Gainwell. So if I have DeAndre Swift, I'm adding Kenneth Gainwell. But if I have the option to hold on to somebody else that I like a little bit more than Gainwell, I don't think Gainwell's going to end the year as the starter.
No, that's the thing with two running backs for backfields. That's what's kind of hard. You have to make that choice week by week.
But Gainwell, like I said, is one of the best handcuffs. Like, I remember adding him late last year when they had Miles Sanders, and Kenneth Gainwell would show up in games. Like, he would have, let's just say, 4 or 5 weeks where he'd have more points than Miles Sanders because he found the end zone twice. Yeah. There's potential for that. But I like DeAndre Swift more. I think he's the better back, and I would just kind of wait on that. I'd pump the brakes. Don't get overexcited because you saw Kenneth Gainwell be the number one unless you own DeAndre Swift, which in that case you should have already had Kenneth Gainwell.
That's what everyone's doing right now with like Rams wide receivers. Yeah, if you need Tutu Atwell, you can add him too. But it's at the same time you have to look at it down the line where Cooper Kupp isn't there. He's going to get most of the catches out of the slot. He's going to have the big plays. Who knows?
Cooper Kupp will have 100 yards a game when he comes back.
Yeah, that's just who they're going to go to every time. So I mean, you can have them. But that's the thing about waivers is you're not getting the best guys every time. Maybe we could be wrong and down the line, Puka is somehow the number 2 guy on that team. So we're only going into week 2.
There's a reason Kenneth Gainwell is 47% owned and DeAndre Swift is 92% owned.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. Once DeAndre Swift is up to full speed, Gainwell will take a little backseat. And didn't Kenneth Gainwell get hurt? Yeah, he had a rib injury. So, as he's walking through practice this week, maybe, and I'm just saying it's a big maybe, but maybe, he has to take some time off. They put DeAndre Swift with the ones. He's a full speed guy. Now he's full speed ahead, and boom, he's the starter for week 2. And then Kenneth Gainwell goes back to where he started because he got hurt. Injuries move guys up and down the depth chart all the time. And so Kenneth Gainwell's not a starting running back. He's just not.
No.
So he can be. He can be serviceable throughout the year, but he's not. I used this term already once today. He's not a guy that gets me excited. Like DeAndre Swift is a guy that gets me excited.
I agree. So I wanted to add each week. You said you're in a pick'em league?
Oh, I'm in. So I pick teams every week, and it's with a group of teachers at a school over in Illinois. Don't ask me why I'm in a league like that. But you just pick games based on how confident you are in those outcomes. So, for example, this week, the Eagles play the Vikings. Like, that would be a game where I'm like, I don't know. Vikings could bounce back after the loss to the Bucs, and I may put the Eagles to win, but at like 7, because that's worth 7 points. My most confident would be my 16 team, then my 15 and so forth down the list. Like last week, I picked the Panthers to win in Bryce Young's first game, but they were my 1. Like Panthers, Falcons, it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
So I went with the Panthers at 1, and it didn't work out.
Okay.
You look at, the list you have in front of you, Chiefs, Jags. That game does not give me like,
that's going to be
number 1 vibes this week. That's going to be a game that I probably put at 5.
Yeah.
And I'll just pick whoever I feel most comfortable about, and the Jags are at home. And I may just lean that direction because of it. But if you look at a team and I'm just peeking over your shoulder here, but if I see the Jets, Cowboys, Cowboys looked really dang good. And because of their defense, especially. And
That'd
the
be my
Jets
16.
right now are going to have Zach Wilson. And even though they have a really good defense, they're going to be in the teens for me when I pick this week. And the Saints will also be a team that go in the teens for me this week.
Little Monday night doubleheader this week. I wonder why.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Okay, toss me some games, and then what do you want me to do? Pick the winner?
Yeah, we're all going to pick a winner.
Oh, Cam!
Cam's involved in this one.
Put on that headset, Cameron.
What do you want?
We're going to...
I wasn't even paying attention.
That's
I'm
okay.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right, so I'm going to pick 3 games, and we're each going to choose our winner, and we're going to do a total by the end of the year. I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Okay.
I thought of this last night.
What's the punishment? Yeah. We have to have a punishment.
I thought of this last night.
They have to cover me in mayonnaise.
That's not a punishment for you.
It's
You
not a
like
punishment for you. I mean,
That will be to be decided.
okay.
Like my decision to make a tattoo bet with no block, no rock, and I still have not decided their punishment. But that is it. Yep.
A tattoo bet?
Yeah.
I made a tattoo bet.
Can I hear it?
Yeah, I said Iowa was going to beat Nebraska, and if Nebraska beats Iowa, I have to get a tattoo of their choosing.
And if Iowa beats Nebraska, who gets the tattoo?
Oh, I don't know. I get a tattoo if Iowa loses. I haven't decided what happens if Iowa wins yet.
So you agreed to a bet and you didn't have, like, something that they'd have to do yet?
Nope.
Do they know that?
Why not make it a tattoo bet?
Yeah, why
Again,
not? Yeah, why not
I
just...
can't pay for their tattoos.
Just one of
No,
them.
just one of them.
Yeah, whoever picks the short straw has to get
And
the
just,
tattoo.
just tell Mike Delaware he has to.
yeah.
Okay.
I doubt he has a tattoo. And if he doesn't have one, that'd make him really mad.
Shouldn't have bet it. Shouldn't have bet it.
And Mike would be somebody that would eat at him every day. He'd lose sleep over the tattoo that you choose. So do Mike Delaware.
Okay. All right. Game 1 that I'm going to choose is
Way to be
Colts.
prepared.
He doesn't even have this
Game 1 who
segment.
I'm going to choose is...
He doesn't have this segment planned out. He doesn't have the tattoo bet planned out.
I'm gonna go up and down. Yeah, where are you today, man?
Get together.
Colts Texans, battle of rookie quarterbacks.
Colts, Texans.
Colts,
Give me the Colts.
I'm also choosing the Colts.
Well, I'll take the Texans just to be different.
Okay.
Tattoo bet.
In your face. No. Yeah, bet me a tattoo. Fine, pay for it. That's cool.
We'll do Browns Steelers.
The Browns.
Steelers.
I believe in the Steelers next
Give
game.
me Deshaun Watson.
I'll go Picky Pickets.
All right. Bears Bucks.
A lot of picks in that game
Not a picks.
by the Browns. Bears, Bucks. Bears. Duh.
I'll take Bears too. Yeah.
Bucks.
Duh.
Well, yeah, you're a Bears fan. I mean, that was
Duh. I'm picking the Bears every week. I don't care. I put $25 on them to win this week. That did not hit.
Was that your in-person bet
No.
at the casino?
So my in-person bet. So
how'd
as
that
a
pan out? I
follow-up,
watched
to,
it.
yeah, as a follow-up to some of the social media content that we're doing on Hurrdat Sports, I'm doing a follow the 100 video, and Bill, our boss, gave me $100. Like literally gave me 100. People have been like thinking it's my 100, and I just said it was the boss's. Like no, he went into his vehicle and pulled out a $100 bill and said, "Hey, this is for you." And I said, "Okay."
I don't think he wants people knowing he keeps $100 bills in his car.
It
But
was
that's
in his
cool.
It was in his wallet.
Just got money flowing out
and he was
everywhere.
at his car.
Yeah.
So there's a reason for that. But he gives me the bill, and then I go to the casino, and I placed it on Nebraska to beat Colorado, Nebraska to cover against Colorado, the under in the Nebraska-Colorado game, and the Lions to win in week 1. So 2 of the 4 hit.
Not bad, yeah.
And I think all said and done, if I did the math correctly in my head, if I did my Joe Burrow math correctly, it was like $85 that I'm getting back. So I lost 15. So now I have to take $85 this week and see if I can turn it for a profit. So I'm down 15 on his hundo.
okay.
And the amount of time it took you to place the bet, Joe Burrow made $3. Is that what you're saying?
No, Joe Burrow probably made $25 at least.
Joe Burrow math. That's good stuff.
Remember, Cam, these are seconds, not minutes.
Right. $1 million a second.
Hey,
That
you know
Joe
what?
Burrow.
In fact, if that's the case, I got to stand up for this so that I can really think about this. Yeah, I got to get the blood flowing all the way through. He probably made a good. $240. It was probably a 4-minute bet,
Wow,
right?
okay, yeah, that's not bad.
Right? Yeah, it's
you-
not
and you
bad.
lost.
I don't even make $240 in an hour.
I don't think any of us do.
You're in the wrong business, my man.
I know. I should have been a football player. Damn it. Damn genetics.
Any more games?
My
we have
dad
more
was
games
a
or we just-
swimmer.
We're just going off on a tangent.
I did 3. We're gonna do 3.
Those
a
are 3?
week
Okay, cool.
So that we can.
So you threw the Bears in there because you wanted to give me a loss. I get it. All right. You know what? Whatever, man.
Yeah, stack
Whatever.
the deck, man.
Hey.
So he was prepared. Who knew?
Yeah.
Eh.
The first one, I was just like, well, I saw the Chiefs Jags, and I was like, well, I ain't gonna do that one. And I was like, Colts Texans rookie quarterback battle. I know who's gonna talk about that a lot this week.
Oh, me?
Fox.
Oh.
That's where I was going with that.
So, who's your waiver wire pick this week? Who's your pickup of the week? Let's give some people that, and then we'll get out of here.
I think gonna be for what we have. I'm going with Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy. So we're adding Purdy to our team. That seems like a pretty nice move.
But
But for the rest of the people out there, reminder that Austin Eckler is dealing with an ankle injury, and Josh Kelly had a really nice week for them in relief for Austin Eckler. I'd look at giving Eckler owners a waiver wire use this week because I'm big on not burning the waiver unless you absolutely have to, because somehow, some way in week 8 or week 9, somebody's starting running back is going to go down and they aren't going to have the handcuff. You're going to save the number 1 waiver all year and boom, burn it right then and there, and you just built up your team a little bit better, or you could use it to trade before the trade deadline's over. Josh Kelly is a surefire add this week for me, and then I'll throw Puka in the mix as well. I think Puka is the guy until Cooper Kupp comes back to be somebody that could give you those Jalen Hyatt wishful points that you had on draft day. So I'm going Puka, I'm going Kelly, and Gus Edwards. I'm going Gus Edwards this week. So those would be my my 3 big ones.
Sam Laporta.
I love me some Sam Laporta. Iowa tight ends always go off in the National Football League. Always.
He got
but
some good volume this week.
He's probably owned in most formats already. He was probably drafted.
34%.
He is 65% in Yahoo formats. So it depends on what website you play on. Like ESPN, you'll have it a little bit lower. Yahoo will have it a little bit larger. But
I
he
got
was a
some
clear
math
number
on
1.
that. So if it's 35 in that one and 65 in the other, that's 100%, boys.
Really?
Look out. I can do math.
So, in
Bam,
fact,
bam.
Sam Laporta is 100% owned, and nobody can pick him up,
Can't
according
get
to Cam.
Yep,
well,
no dice, boys. Sorry.
Sorry. I don't know what to say now, I guess.
Oh, I just hoped Jamal Williams is a better week than he had in week 1. He boned me out of money for touchdowns.
I have a bone to pick with Justin Jefferson. He is the reason I did not win $500.
Because you bet him to get a touchdown?
He was in a parlay.
He had 130 yards.
Yeah, he was in a parlay that I had. And
Guys, watch out for Jordan Addison. I was so mad that I had to draft him, too, because somebody took Dalton Kincaid. In a league, I needed a young tight end to kind of grow. So I picked up Jordan Addison instead, and now who's laughing? Oh.
well, on that note, this was episode 2 of God Bless Fantasy Football. Stay tuned all season. We'll give you guys our unbiased opinions most of the time.
Mostly biased.
Semi-professional opinions. And we're hoping for a better week 2. Thank you guys for watching.
I don't know if I could have a better week 2. I went 4-0. Let's have a consistent week 2.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Consistency.
Thank you guys. See you guys later.